Hi Reddit. I'm Aiden, I'm 19, and I just found out something that flipped my entire existence upside down. It started like this. 2 nights ago, I stopped to grab gas at this sketchy station about a mile from my house. You know the type. Dim lights, barely functional pump screens, and the smell of fried something always lingering in the air. I was minding my own business, just pumping gas and half scrolling my phone, when I noticed this older guy pull up in a beat-up silver Honda. Now, I don't usually care who's around me, but this dude, he was acting off. He got out, stared at me a little too long. Like not just a glance. Full-on eye contact. I looked back at him like, do we know each other? And he just smiled. But it wasn't a normal, hey, kind of smile. It was the kind that gives you that weird gut feeling. I paid, got in my car, dipped. Figured he was some weirdo. Maybe recognized me from high school sports or something. Whatever. But the story doesn't end there. Not even close. That same evening, maybe an hour later, I'm walking home from my buddy's place. There's this small cafe near our street. Nothing fancy, just a spot where the older folks drink overpriced tea and gossip. As I'm passing it, I glance through the window. And boom, there's my mom, sitting across from that same guy. The weird gas station dude. I literally stopped mid-step. She wasn't just talking to him casually. She was smiling, laughing, like full-on relax mode. The guy wasn't smiling, though. He was staring right at me through the window again. Just like earlier. Not blinking. Just watching. I stood there a second, heart racing, before I did something impulsive. I walked in. My mom's face went pale as soon as she saw me. The guy? He calmly stood up, muttered something to her, and walked out. No handshake, no goodbye. Just gone. I stared at my mom. Who the hell was that? She blinked like she didn't expect me to ask. Then she straightened up and said, "He's leaving, Aiden. Go home." That's it. No explanation. No name. Nothing. I didn't push it. I left. But my mind, spinning. Because why was that dude staring at me like that? Twice. Why did she act so weird? And most of all, why was he sitting with my mom, like they knew each other? You might think I'm reading too much into it. I thought so too. For like 5 seconds. But the next part, you won't believe what I found. I couldn't sleep that night. My mom acted like I just caught her doing something illegal. The way she shut down the conversation and sent me home, it was so off, so cold. That guy wasn't just some random. I knew it. My gut knew it. I kept replaying everything. His weird stare, the way he rushed out of the cafe, her silence. None of it sat right with me. So yeah, I did something a little shady. Don't come for me, Reddit. The next morning, while my mom was showering, I grabbed her phone off the kitchen counter. I knew her passcode. She never changed it. Just her birthday. I didn't even know what I was looking for, honestly. But within seconds, I found it. Last call, Leo, 9:26 p.m. Right after I left the cafe. I tapped into the messages. Boom. They've been texting for weeks. Not even hiding it. A mix of emotional stuff and weirdly formal lines. Like, I hope you're okay after tonight. And it's getting harder not to say anything to him. Some messages were deleted. Obviously. But there were enough left to know one thing for sure. This man, Leo, wasn't new. He'd been around. Quietly. On the sidelines. And they were hiding it from me. Now here's where it gets worse. I screen capped everything. My hands were shaking, but I made sure to save it all. Then I did what any stubborn 19-year-old with too much time and too many questions would do. I started digging. First step, reverse search. I dropped his phone number into one of those background check sites. It gave me a name, a blurry address history, and an old mugshot. Yeah, a mugshot. Leo Jackson. Age 42. Arrested 19 years ago. 19. I'm 19. Now I don't know what part of me figured out right then, but something clicked, and it clicked hard. My hands were sweating. I felt sick. I looked up from my laptop and stared at the living room wall for like 10 straight minutes. It couldn't be. No way. My mom never even mentioned another man before her husband, who's been around my whole life. No ex-boyfriend. No, it didn't work out. Nothing. But suddenly I'm looking at some dude my age exactly lines up with his arrest date. Reddit. I had to know more. I spent the next few hours doing something I never thought I'd do. Stalking the hell out of this man's existence. Digging through online forums, jail records, old court listings. Everything. And while most of it was hidden or scrubbed, I found pieces, enough to tell me he'd served time. But for what? That part was blurry. Covered up or sealed. Which made it worse. Way worse. I didn't want to believe it, but every step kept pointing in the same direction. This dude was my biological father. And my mom, she's been hiding in my entire life. That night, I couldn't even look at her. I sat through dinner like a zombie. She asked me about school, and I just nodded. Said nothing. She smiled like nothing happened. And all I could think about was how fake it all felt. She's lied to me for 19 years. But here's the kicker. The next morning, I was heading to the gas station again, same one as before, because I'm an idiot with a loyalty card or something. And as I'm pulling the door open to grab a drink, there he is, Leo, standing right outside, staring straight at me. Not creepy this time, just calm. We locked eyes, my heart thundering in my chest. I was seconds away from walking away, but something in me snapped. I walked up to him. "Who the hell are you?" I said, not even pretending to play nice. He didn't flinch. "I'm your father, Aiden." I didn't say a word, just stared at him. "She never told you, did she?" he said. "She said she'd wait until the right time. That time never came." I felt like the sidewalk was falling out from under me. "She didn't want me near you, because I went to prison, but I didn't belong there. I was set up. Her husband, your stepdad, he threw me under the bus. And she let him. Everything. Everything I thought I knew. My mom, my family, my childhood. It felt like it just shattered. I've waited 19 years to talk to you," he said. "She made sure I couldn't. But I'm still your dad." And Reddit. I wish I could say I knew what to do, that I had a plan or a reaction or anything. But I didn't. I just stood there, staring at a stranger who apparently had my blood, my face, and a hell of a story. And trust me, it was just getting started. I didn't say a word to Leo that day. I just turned and walked straight to my car. My head was spinning so fast I almost forgot how to drive. I sat there gripping the wheel like I was trying to stop the world from flipping upside down. Because guess what? It already had. The guy who just called himself my father didn't look like he was lying. His voice, his eyes, none of it felt fake. And that's what made it worse. Because if he wasn't lying, then who the hell was? I got home, slammed the door, and walked past my mom without even looking at her. She called after me. "Aiden, hey, everything okay?" I ignored her. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I stormed into her room 20 minutes later and threw her phone on the bed. "You gonna tell me who Leo is now? Or should I ask him again?" She froze. Her face went pale, and for the first time in my life, I saw actual fear in her eyes. Not anger, not disappointment. Fear. She stood up slowly. "Where did you hear that name?" I stepped forward. He told me. "At the gas station. You know, the one where he watched me like I was some zoo animal. He said he's my dad." "That true?" She didn't answer. So I yelled it. "Is it true?" That's when she snapped. "I told him to stay away from you," she screamed. "He has no right. He lost that chance the moment he got arrested." I stared at her. "So it's true. You lied to me for 19 years. I protected you," she snapped. "From him. From what he did. I didn't even care if the neighbors heard. Protected me from what? From knowing who my real father is." "You want the truth?" she barked, walking closer. "He was a criminal, Aiden. He went to prison. Armed robbery. For houses. They caught him red-handed. He could have gotten 20 years. You think I was going to let someone like that near my baby?" "He told me he was framed," I said. She actually laughed. Bitter and nasty. "Of course he did. That's what liars do." I looked her straight in the eyes. "He said your husband set him up. Now that shut her up." Dead silence. Her jaw clenched, but her eyes flickered. That flicker, that was enough. I walked out of her room before she could say another word. And for the next 2 days, I barely spoke to her. Couldn't look at her. I was sleeping with headphones on just to block out the tension in the house. I needed air. I needed clarity. I needed something that wasn't this chaotic mess. And that's when the second crazy thing happened. I was grabbing coffee early one morning at that same gas station. Don't ask why I keep going there. Maybe I like trauma when I saw him again. Leo. This time, he was sitting on the curb near the back of the building, sipping something from a styrofoam cup. I almost turned around, but I didn't. I walked right up to him. He looked up, calm as ever. "Didn't expect to see you again. Why were you in prison?" I asked. "Tell me the truth. No BS." He nodded slowly. "All right." And then he told me everything. How he and my mom were together when they were young. She got pregnant. They were planning to move in together. Start fresh. But then came him, the man I thought was my dad all these years. He was older, slick, and had money. He didn't like my mom being with a guy who wasn't going anywhere. According to Leo, my stepdad got involved in some shady stuff. Leo found out, threatened to go to the cops. And that's when it happened. One night, a job goes bad, 4 houses robbed. Leo gets picked up, but all the evidence, it's too clean, too perfect. Fingerprints in places he swears he never went. Surveillance gone missing. Anonymous tip that leads the cops straight to him. He went down for it. 7 years. And your mom, he said. She believed him. Not me. She testified I was acting strange. Told them I might have done it out of desperation. Said she didn't know who I was anymore. I just stared at him. She let it happen, he whispered. Maybe because she was scared. Or maybe because she was already with him. Either way, I lost my shot. They erased me from your life. And Reddit, I swear to God, I didn't know what to believe. My whole childhood flashed in my head like a broken reel. Birthdays, family trips, my dad teaching me to ride a bike. Was that all built on a lie? I wanted to scream. I didn't. I just said, why now? Why'd you come back? Leo looked me in the eye. Because you're old enough now. And because you deserve the truth. And as much as I didn't want to believe it, I felt it. This wasn't over. It was just beginning. After talking to Leo again, I couldn't shake it. His words were stuck in my head like splinters. Every time I looked at my mom, I saw betrayal. Every time I saw my stepdad's stupid wedding photo on the wall, I felt rage. I couldn't sit on it anymore. So, yeah, I started texting Leo in secret. We kept it chill. Just updates, questions. I want to know more. About him. About the past. About who the hell I really was. He didn't push. He didn't try to be my dad. He just talked. Like a normal person who had nothing left to lose, but still wanted one connection that mattered. We met up twice. Once at a diner on the edge of town, and once in the park at night. Both times, he came empty-handed, didn't ask for money, didn't guilt me, didn't make it weird. He just listened. Told me stories about my childhood, about holding me when I was born, about the day they took him away. I didn't know if it was all true, but it felt realer than anything I was hearing at home. And of course, because the universe loves irony, it didn't stay a secret. One night, I was in my room, texting Leo, when I heard the door swing open. Mom. Her face was like stone. Who are you texting? She snapped. I didn't answer. She stormed over, yanked the phone out of my hands, and saw his name. Her eyes widened, and then it happened. She lost her damn mind. I told you to stay away from him, she screamed. You don't know what you're doing. You lied to me for 19 years. I fired back. You don't get to play victim now. He's dangerous, Aiden. You don't understand what he's capable of. No, I said, you don't understand. You don't get to control me anymore. She slapped the wall with her palm and started pacing like a lunatic. You think he's some kind of hero? He's a con, a manipulator. He destroyed our lives. And what about him? I shouted, pointing to the living room where my stepdad's framed photo was still hanging. He got a free pass. He walked away clean while Leo rotted in a cell. She froze. Silence again. I'm going to stay with him, I said, at least for a while. That's when she started crying. Real tears. Full breakdown mode. He doesn't even have a home, Aiden. He's been living in a shelter. I nodded. I know. Her face twisted like I just stabbed her. You'd rather live in a shelter than in your own home, she whispered. If it means not being lied to? Yeah, maybe I would. So that night, I packed a backpack. Just essentials. I left my phone behind because I knew she'd track me with it. I grabbed a burner phone Leo had given me. Yeah, he had a spare, don't ask, and I left. Leo met me by the back gate near my neighborhood. We didn't speak, just nodded and walked. He brought me to this rundown center downtown. It wasn't as bad as I expected. Sad. Yeah, cold. A little. But people were quiet. No one stared. Leo had a small cot in the corner of a shared room, and somehow, he cleared a little space for me. 3 nights. That's how long I stayed. Just 3 nights before the whole thing blew up. On the 4th day, cops showed up. They walked into the shelter, said my name, said Leo's name, asked us to come outside. He went calmly. I followed. Then I saw her, my mom. Standing beside her was her husband, arms crossed like he was loving this moment. I told you, she said to the officer. He's been brainwashing my son. He took him. He kidnapped him. Leo's eyes snapped wide. What the hell? He's not a kid. Leo shouted. He came on his own. I didn't make him do anything. But she wouldn't stop. He's unstable. He's dangerous. He's turning my son against me. The cops separated us, started asking questions. One of them pulled me aside. Did he force you to stay with him? I looked him dead in the eye. No, I left. On my own. Did he hurt you? Threaten you? No, I said. He's my dad. I just wanted to talk to him. The officer glanced back at my mom, then at Leo. That's when he sighed. All right, we're not pressing charges. You're 19. You're not a minor. But your mom is threatening to file a full report. And that's exactly what she did. The next morning, Leo got hit with a restraining order. He wasn't allowed within 100 feet of me. And suddenly I was back home, trapped, watching my mom act like she saved me, like she was the hero in this story. But Reddit, you haven't even heard the worst part yet. Next comes the courtroom, and you won't believe what happens there. Courtrooms look way less dramatic in real life than they do in movies. No pounding gavels, no dramatic shouting, just fluorescent lights, paperwork, and people trying to pretend they're not on the verge of snapping. But trust me, what happened in that room? Way more insane than anything on TV. My mom was suing Leo, straight up, accusing him of manipulating me, abducting me, emotional corruption, whatever that even means. Her claim was that he was trying to ruin our family and poison me against her. I sat on the left bench, Leo on the right. He looked tired, not scared, just like a guy who'd been through this crap too many times. I hadn't seen him since the cops slapped that restraining order on him. It felt weird being so close, but not allowed to even nod at him. Then she walked in. My mom, dressed like she was on her way to church. Hair perfect. Fake tears already loading. Behind her, him, the man I grew up calling Dad. Arms folded, face smug, like he was watching his property being defended. If I could punch a face with my mind, his would be dust. The judge read through the paperwork, asked a few questions, then gave Leo his chance to speak. Leo stood up, calm, firm. I did not kidnap my son. He's 19. He came to me. I didn't manipulate him. I didn't ask for this. I've respected every line that's been forced on me since I got out of prison. The judge raised an eyebrow. Prison? Leo nodded. Yes. I served 7 years for a crime I didn't commit. A crime I believe her husband set me up for. You could have heard a pin drop. My mom shot up from her seat like someone pressed a button. That's a lie. He's a manipulator, a criminal. The judge banged the gavel once. Ma'am, sit down. You'll get your turn. Leo didn't flinch. All I've ever wanted was a chance to speak to my son. I never asked for custody, money, nothing. Just truth. That's all. My lawyer stood up then. Yeah, I got one. Leo had one too. Thank God. And my guy? He went in hard. He showed the court the text messages, the call logs, the background check, the timelines, everything that pointed to my mom knowing exactly who Leo was and actively hiding him from me. Then he dropped the bomb. We have reason to believe the conviction Mr. Jackson served was based on coerced witness statements, law surveillance, and a falsified anonymous tip that came from none other than the current husband of the plaintiff. My stepdad's face dropped. For the first time in my life, he looked scared. The judge asked my mom directly, "Did you know Leo Jackson was the defendant's biological father?" She hesitated. I wasn't sure. You're under oath, Miss Carter. She swallowed. Yes, I knew. And you never told your son? She didn't answer. And you testified against Mr. Jackson 19 years ago. Another pause. Then, yes. And you claim now that he's dangerous? Her voice cracked. He is. He was arrested. Ma'am, you helped put him there. That courtroom went cold. Everything after that was a blur. Legal arguments. Objections. Heated glances. I just kept my eyes on Leo. He didn't even look at my mom. Not once. Just stared straight ahead like he was done with her. Like she didn't even deserve the hate anymore. In the end, the judge threw out the case. No charges. No restraining order. Said I had every right to speak to my father. That my mom had gone beyond parental concern into personal sabotage. But that wasn't the moment that really broke me. It was after, when I caught up to my mom outside the building and asked her one last time, "Why'd you lie to me my whole life?" She didn't scream this time. Didn't cry. She just said, "Because I thought I was doing the right thing." I stared at her, waiting for more. And then she said it. "Your father, he wasn't just arrested. He was part of it. He did rob those houses." I laughed. He told me he was set up. She looked me dead in the eyes. Of course he did. But I was there, Aiden. I knew what he was doing. I just didn't want to believe it until it was too late. I shook my head. "So you're still lying?" "No," she whispered. but so is he. And that's when I realized one of them is still full of it. And the worst part, I had no idea which one. After the court shut everything down, I thought things would chill out for a second. They didn't. A week later, Leo and I started talking again. Nothing dramatic, just meeting in public spots, keeping it low. We were cautious, careful. After everything that went down, neither of us wanted more cops involved. My mom wasn't exactly thrilled, but she couldn't stop me now. She tried guilt trips, crying, even a family intervention with my aunt. I walked out of that one in 10 minutes. But what I didn't expect was him. My stepdad. Let me tell you about this guy. Mark, 46 years old, drives a shiny black truck he didn't pay for, owns a construction company that's just a front for shady deals, cash jobs, undocumented labor, you name it. Dresses like a man of the people, acts like a corporate villain. He never raised me like a father. He was the type to discipline with a belt and call it tough love. Never once told me he was proud. Just barked orders and shoved me harder when I didn't follow them fast enough. So when he showed up in my room one night, door half open, arms crossed, yeah, I knew something was coming. "You done playing detective with the felon?" he said. I didn't even look up from my laptop. "You mean my dad?" He stepped closer. "You know what I mean." "Yeah, I do," I snapped. "You're scared. That's why you're here." He laughed. Not a real laugh. One of those cocky, fake ones. "Kid, you have no idea what you're messing with." That's when I hit record on my phone under the desk. "I know enough," I said. "Like how you threw him under the bus 19 years ago." He didn't even flinch. "I did what needed to be done. Your mom was going to leave me. Run off with that loser. I gave her a reason to stay. You ever get goosebumps from rage? Because that was me." He kept going. "You think the world runs on truth, justice? No, it runs on power." I had it. He didn't. I kept quiet. Let him talk. Let him sink himself. "You're not some hero, Aiden. You're a kid playing with fire. You keep digging into the past, I'll bury him again. And this time, I'll take you with him." He turned to leave. That's when I said it. Calm. Clear. "I recorded everything you just said." He stopped cold. "Every word." I said. "It's already in the cloud. One wrong move, and you're done." He didn't speak. Just turned around slowly. His eyes? Black. Like dead black. Pure hatred. "You think it's gonna save him?" he growled. "I beat the system once. I can do it again." I smiled. "Maybe. But this time, I'm watching." He stormed out. Slammed the door so hard the wall shook. I sat there, my hands trembling. Not from fear. From adrenaline. The next day, I met Leo at a diner and played the recording for him. He didn't speak for a long time. Then he said, "That's the bastard I remember." We took it straight to his lawyer. And that lawyer? Lit up like a Christmas tree. "This could destroy his credibility," she said. "You've got him admitting motive, past interference, and current threats." Leo leaned back in his seat, eyes glazed. "All this time," he whispered. "All these years." But even as we prepped to go back to court, I knew something was coming. Mark wouldn't go down quietly. He had money, lawyers, strings to pull. And when people like him feel cornered, they strike back. That night, our garage mysteriously caught fire. The police said electrical. Right. 2 days later, Leo got served with a surprise complaint. Some old charge magically reopened. No details, no warning. This guy was desperate. But I wasn't scared. Because now I had the one thing I never had before, proof. And I was done staying quiet. So we went back to court. This time, it wasn't about restraining orders or family drama. It was about justice. Leo's lawyer filed a motion to reopen his original conviction, and attached to it was the full audio recording of Mark, my stepdad, admitting he set Leo up. It wasn't some vague threat either. It was direct, arrogant, and undeniable. We walked into that courtroom knowing we had something explosive, and judging by the look on Mark's face when he saw us, he knew it too. For once, he didn't look smug. He looked rattled. That cold confidence. Gone. His tie was crooked. He kept adjusting his watch, like that would somehow slow time down. But it didn't. The judge listened to the recording, read through the transcript, and looked up like he couldn't believe what he just heard. "You're telling me this man, Mr. Carter, was never investigated as a potential suspect?" Leo's lawyer nodded. "That's correct, Your Honor. Because at the time, Mr. Carter was considered a witness, not a suspect. His statement was used to convict my client, and now we have evidence that statement may have been false." Mark tried to stand up, But the judge shut him down hard. Sir, sit. You'll get your turn. Then the judge turned to Leo. Mr. Jackson, you were convicted based on witness testimony, correct? Leo stood slowly. Yes, sir. And you served 7 years. Yes. The courtroom was dead quiet. You could hear people shifting in their chairs. Try not to react. I'm granting a hearing, the judge said. We're reopening this case. I swear I felt something shift in the air when he said it. Mark didn't say a word. His lawyer whispered something to him, but his face? Blank. Like he was watching his whole empire crumble in real time. But that wasn't even the best part. See, I wasn't just there to support Leo. I testified. I took the stand and told the court everything. What I found on my mom's phone. What Leo told me. What Mark admitted in my room. And how I'd recorded it all. I grew up thinking Mark Harder was my dad, I said. But he never treated me like a son. He treated me like a problem. The judge asked, and your relationship with Mr. Jackson? I looked over at Leo. He didn't even look at me. He just kept his hands in his lap like he was trying to hold back 20 years of heartbreak. I don't know what he was, I said. But I know what he wasn't. He wasn't a liar. And he didn't deserve what happened to him. After that, it all moved fast. The hearing was set for a full retrial of Leo's case. The DA's office started scrambling. Mark was suddenly under investigation. And my mom, she stopped talking. I'd never seen her look so defeated. So small. She stopped cooking dinner. Stopped pretending. It was like the guilt finally caught up with her, but I didn't know if it was guilt over what she did or what was about to happen to him. And then, they arrested Mark. That part felt surreal. Cops our door. My mom crying. Mark shouting about conspiracies and revenge. But no one listened this time. Because now, he was the one in handcuffs. I watched from the sidewalk as they shoved him into the back of a cruiser. He turned his head and locked eyes with me, like he was trying to burn a hole in my skull. But I just stared back. Nothing to say. He was done. After Mark got arrested, the silence at home was unbearable. Mom barely said a word. She stopped pretending everything was fine. She'd just sit at the kitchen table, staring into her coffee like it held the answer to all her problems. But I wasn't interested in her silence anymore. I wanted truth. And not the watered-down version she'd been feeding me all my life. So I did something drastic. I booked a lie detector test. Yeah, full-on polygraph. I used my savings, every cent I had from part-time jobs, birthday cash, and the fund I was setting aside to move out. I didn't care. I needed answers. I called Leo first. I want both of you to take it, I said. He paused. You sure? No, I said, but I'm done guessing who to trust. Leo agreed without hesitation. Mom, not so much. When I told her, she lost it. Aiden, that's insane. You think some machine is going to tell you what's real? No, I said, but it's going to tell me who's lying. She stood up so fast her chair fell over. You're humiliating me. After everything I've done for you. I didn't flinch. You've done everything but tell me the truth. It took hours to convince her. Tears, yelling, accusations, every trick in the book. But when she realized I wasn't backing down, she finally cracked. Fine, she said. But don't say I didn't warn you. The test was scheduled for Saturday. Neutral third party, certified examiner, everything recorded. I sat in the room as the examiner explained the process. Wires, sensors, all that. I wasn't allowed to speak during the tests. Just listen. Take notes. Keep quiet. Leo went first. He looked calm. No fidgeting. No nerves. Just quiet resolve. They asked, did you rob the houses in 2005? No. Result. Truthful. Did you know about the robberies before your arrest? No. Result. Truthful. Were you in a romantic relationship with Aiden's mother at the time? Yes. Result. Truthful. He passed every question. No signs of stress. No deception. Then it was Mom's turn. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. The second they hooked up the wires, she started tapping her foot. Wouldn't stop fidgeting. Her breathing was shallow. They asked, did Leo commit the robberies? Yes. Result. Deception. Did you know Mark was involved? No. Result. Deception. Did you lie in your original testimony against Leo? No. Result. Deception. I sat there frozen, watching the examiner Mark fail. After every answer made my stomach turn. The worst part? She knew. Her eyes said it all. She didn't even deny it afterward. When it was over, she just sat there. Quiet. Empty. On the drive home, I asked her why. She didn't answer. So I asked again. Why'd you lie? Why'd you let him go to prison? She finally looked at me. Because I was scared. Of Mark. She nodded. He told me if I didn't testify against Leo, he'd make sure I never saw you again. He had people. He had power. I didn't know what to do. I was shaking. So, you threw my father under a bus. I thought he'd forgive me, she whispered. But he never did. That hit harder than I expected. Because suddenly I realized she hadn't just ruined Leo's life. She destroyed her own, lied to her son, lived with guilt for almost 2 decades. And now, there was nothing left to lie about. After the lie detector results came out, things didn't magically fix themselves. There were no hugs. No movie moment apologies. Just silence. I didn't talk to my mom for days. Not because I was trying to punish her, but because I genuinely didn't know what to say. What do you say to the person who lied to you your entire life? Who let your father go to prison just to protect herself? Who let another man, a monster, step into that role and screw up everything? But the silence didn't last. One night, I came home from seeing Leo, and she was sitting on the couch, lights off, just staring at the wall. I miss him, she said. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. I just stood there. I didn't just love Leo, she continued. I trusted him. He was kind, honest. He wanted to raise you right. He was nothing like Mark. Then why? I asked. Why let Mark win? She took a long breath. Because Mark knew how to scare me. He made me feel small. Leo was strong, but not like that. Not the kind of strong that fights back dirty. Mark played a different game. She turned to me then, eyes glassy. I've been paying for that decision every day since. I sat down. I didn't say I forgave her. Because I didn't. Not yet. But I listened. She told me everything. How she got pregnant young. How Leo was working 2 jobs to support them. How Mark came around offering help and slowly poisoned everything. Their relationship, her mind, her security. How he manipulated her into testifying against Leo. How she felt like she was drowning and Mark was the only one holding the life preserver. Until she realized he was the one pushing her under. I ruined 2 lives, she whispered. Leo's and yours. That one hit me. Because she wasn't wrong. My entire life, I thought I was being raised by someone who cared. Someone tough, maybe, but loyal. But now I knew the truth. Mark didn't care about me. He cared about control. About keeping the lie alive. About making sure Leo stayed gone. And now, Mark was in jail. No chance of bail. Awaiting trial. My mom. Alone. Sitting in the wreckage of her choices. And Leo, he was trying. He didn't say much about the polygraph. Just gave me this look when I told him the results, like part of him was relieved, and part of him was just tired. I didn't want revenge, he said. I just wanted my name back. We sat on a bench outside the shelter he was still living at. I hated that. Hated that he was still stuck in that place, while Mark had once lived in a paid-off house, driving a new truck and pretending to be someone. But Leo wasn't bitter. At least, not on the outside. I loved her, Aiden, he said. Even after the trial. Even when she lied in court. Part of me hoped she'd call. Say she was sorry. Say she didn't mean it. But she never did. She says she still loves you. I told him. He laughed. But not the good kind. That's not love, he said. That's regret. And that was the thing about all of this. There weren't any clean lines. No clear villains or heroes. Just people making choices, and then trying to live with them. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do. My mom was alone. Leo was technically free, but still stuck in a life that was ripped away from him. And me? I was in the middle, torn between 2 stories. 2 shattered people. I don't want her to be alone, I admitted. Leo nodded. I get that. She's miserable now. She lost everything. She made her bed, he said. But yeah, I know. And then he said something I didn't expect. If she ever wants to talk, really talk, I'll be there. I looked at him. You still love her? He shrugged. Maybe. Maybe I just never stopped hoping she'd do the right thing. But she hadn't. Not really. And the truth was, it was too late for the life they could have had. The family they could have built. That version of our story died 19 years ago in a courtroom. Now we were just trying to build something out of the wreckage. And as for my mom, she was learning the hardest truth of all. Sometimes, forgiveness doesn't come with a second chance. It's been 4 months since the courtroom blew everything wide open. Mark's still in jail, and based on what the DA's building, he's not getting out anytime soon. They linked him to 2 other setups like Leo's. Different names. Different victims. Same tactics. He's not just a manipulator. He's a pattern. A guy who spent his life winning by ruining other people's. Leo, meanwhile, is no longer at the shelter. I helped him move into a small apartment not far from downtown. Nothing fancy. Bare walls, secondhand furniture. But it's his. A place with a lock, a key, and no curfew. He's working again, too. Part-time mechanic at a garage owned by a friend from the old days. Getting his hands dirty. Earning his piece back one greasy wrench at a time. And me? I see him 3, 4 times a week now. It started simple, grabbing coffee, helping him set up his place, walking through old neighborhoods so he could point out what used to be. Then we started talking more. Deeper stuff. About my childhood. His prison time. The years we lost, and the silence that filled them. The guy's got scars, no doubt. He's not some perfect father figure from a Netflix drama. He's got a temper. He zones out sometimes. He's got habits from prison that'll probably never leave him. But he listens. He never talks down to me. Never tries to guilt me into calling him dad. Never pressures me to forgive fast or feel a certain way. He just shows up. Every time. And that's more than Mark ever did in 19 years under the same roof. As for my mom, things are quieter. We talk. Not often. Not deep. But it's something. She apologized again a few weeks back. Said the same words as before, but this time she didn't cry, didn't beg, didn't make it about herself. She just said, I understand if you can't forgive me. I told her I'm not sure if I ever will. But I'm also not out for revenge. She nodded. That was it. She's been seeing a therapist. Living alone. Still working her job. There's this dullness in her now that wasn't there before. Like she finally sees the full picture of what she did. And it broke something in her. Not sure if that's justice. But it's real. Funny thing is, Leo talks about her sometimes too. Not with hate. Sometimes not even with bitterness. She was young, he said once. Scared. Caught between 2 lives. Doesn't excuse it, but explains a lot. I asked him once, just once, if he still loved her. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, not like I used to. But I don't hate her either. I don't know if they'll ever speak again. Maybe someday. Maybe not. Some wounds don't get stitched. They just scar. But me and Leo, we're figuring it out. Last week, he showed up at my community college just to surprise me. Said he was passing by, which is BS. He lives 35 minutes away. But I didn't call him out. I just grabbed an extra sandwich from the vending machine, and we sat outside on a bench, talking about nothing for an hour. It was the first time I realized I wasn't angry anymore. Not at him. Not even at my mom. I was just tired of being angry. Sometimes I still think about how things could have been. If Mark never showed up. If Leo got to raise me. If I'd grown up knowing who I really was. But life doesn't work like that. It doesn't hand you what you deserve. It makes you fight for it. So now, I'm fighting to rebuild. For me. For Leo. For the truth that was buried for 19 years. And I don't care that he was in prison. I don't care what anyone else thinks. Because he's my father. And now, I finally get to be his son.